This is He Knows His Sport, bringing you that heat and that fire. All right, I know it's been a little minute. Your boy's been taking care of some things, but I want to delve into this topic. I had somebody by the name of Todd Bob. He was asking me questions in relation to why I felt that Kevin Durant was better than Stephen Curry. Okay, I got 4 reasons why I think Kevin Durant is better than Stephen Curry. Number one, like I said before, previously when I commented back to Todd Bob. Shout out to Todd Bob, by the way. Thank you for your comments and thank you for the encouragement. You know, he knows the sport gonna keep bringing that heat. Is gonna keep bringing that fire. But on to this. Kevin Durant is the second player in the modern day NBA history of the league outside of Dirk Nowitzki. Now, people got to understand the reason why I'm bringing up Dirk Nowitzki, even though he has nothing to do with this topic, is the fact that Dirk Nowitzki back in 2011 was the first guy in a very long time to have the 50-40-90 stat. As a matter of fact, he was actually the first guy to do that. In 2011, his game was bananas. The guy actually won MVP that year. He defeated the Miami Heat. The chosen one became the frozen one that year. I remember that year in basketball because that was a year of humility for LeBron James. But on to this point of what I'm trying to say here. Kevin Durant is the second guy because of his length at his 6'10 frame to be the guy that put up 50. And when I say 50, 40, 90, I'm talking about shooting 50% from the field, shooting 40% from the three, and shooting 90% from the free throw line. That's unprecedented, especially a guy that's 6'10 and higher. Usually guys that are of that height, they can't shoot worth a lick. They can't even shoot free throws. They usually shoot at like 60% or 70% or things of that nature. So the fact that Kevin Durant is the second guy after Dirk Nowitzki to do that, that lends credibility in my opinion as to why I believe he's better than Stephen Curry. The other aspect of it, again, it goes to his height. You're talking about a guy that's 6'10", but he can bring the ball down the court like he's a point guard. The man's dribbling ability, the man's ability to go up and down the court, is second to none. I think his ball handling skills are better than LeBron James. In another video, I'm going to talk about why I believe LeBron James' ball handling skills are suspect. A lot of people get it twisted. They think that LeBron James' ball handling skills is, superior, but really it's his passing skills that's superior. And there's a difference between passing the ball and there's a difference between actually dribbling the ball and being able to protect the ball, meaning hence you're not causing a lot of turnovers. Now, if you want to see where there's credibility in what I'm saying, all you got to do is look at this stat called turnovers. If you look at the turnovers that LeBron James is putting up versus the turnovers that Kevin Durant is putting up, you'll see that Kevin Durant's turnovers are substantially less. So that lends credibility to his ball handling ability being better than that of a LeBron James. But Kevin Durant is a small forward that's unlike any other small forward we've seen in this NBA. This guy plays like he's a point guard. He has a 6'10 frame and he has a 7'6 wingspan. That is ridiculous. That means that he can play all 5 positions on the basketball court. The man can post you up. The man has footwork. He can use jab steps. He can jab you left. He can jab you right. He can post you up. He can pull up. He can pick and pop. He can stop and go. The man has the ability to drive to the basket at will, dunk the basketball, drive to the basket and do nifty layups. He can dribble. He can use his left hand. He can use his right hand. So he's basically ambidextrous. So this right here lends credibility to why I believe that Kevin Durant, which is something that is abnormal in the NBA, being at 6'10", is better than Stephen Curry. The other thing, this is the one thing that's the knock on Stephen Curry. Stephen Curry is a guy that can pull up literally from half court. He can razzle dazzle you. Stephen Curry has the ability to be ambidextrous just like Kevin Durant. He can do all of those things that Kevin Durant can do offensively. But here's the problem. Here's where he falls short. Stephen Curry cannot defend. He was exposed last year in the NBA Finals when he went up against the likes of Kyrie Irving. Kyrie Irving was making clutch baskets after clutch baskets on Stephen Curry. Every time Stephen Curry guarded him in the key moments, What ended up happening? Kyrie Irving was taking it to him. He was putting it to him. Kevin Durant, on the other hand, I'm not going to sit here and lie and say, oh, well, Kevin Durant has always been a great defender. No, that has not been the case. But in the last few years, Kevin Durant's defense has gotten substantially better. As a matter of fact, a game that you could see his defense at the highest levels when they played up against the Cavs. This man had 2 key block shots. He had 1 key block shot on Kyrie Irving and 1 key block shot on LeBron James. These are single-handedly or double-handedly the 2 best players on the Cleveland Cavaliers. And when the game was on the line, in pressurized situations, Kevin Durant showed that he has that defensive repertoire that I'm talking about. So, what is the definition to me of a great player? The definition to me of a great player is a guy that can play both sides of the court. A guy that can have all of the offensive weaponry that you want him to have, but a guy that can also defend as well too. And this is what Kevin Durant brings to the table. Kevin Durant can defend your best player from position 1 to position 5. This is what makes him versatile. This is the thing that Stephen Curry can't do. And because of that, in my opinion, Kevin Durant is better than Stephen Curry. And then the fourth aspect of why Kevin Durant is better than Stephen Curry. Kevin Durant's talent is undeniable. Stephen Curry is a guy that, yeah, we knew he had great exploits, when he was playing in Davidson as a point guard. But nobody was sitting there telling themselves that, well, Stephen Curry was going to be a top 3 player in the NBA. Stephen Curry came out of nowhere. Now, it's not taking nothing away from him. If anything, I got to give that boy mad credit. I got to give the kid credit because he came out of nowhere, and then now he's considered a top 3 basketball player every year since the first time he won the MVP, 2 years ago. So much credit goes to him on that. But Kevin Durant, just like LeBron James, ever since he started, as a matter of fact, even before he came into the NBA, he was considered a guy that you had to watch out for. He was considered a guy that was already preordained or predestined to be a guy that was going to be one of the top players in the NBA. He has a few stats that's already legendary. This man is clearly going to be the best scorer the NBA has ever seen. He's going to shatter all of the, first to 10,000, first to 20,000, all of that stuff that, LeBron has broken from Kobe. Kevin Durant's going to break that from LeBron James. In my opinion, Kevin Durant's going to be the guy that's probably going to be the leading scorer. Now, don't get me wrong. It's very hard for these guys to catch up to Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and those 38,000 plus points that man has. Because another factor of why Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was able to put up that many points is the longevity. The man played 20 years. And then it's the position. See, the thing with basketball is, you guys have to learn this. A center doesn't exert his body as much as a wing player does. So a center has more longevity. Hence, this is why Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was able to play 20 years. Because this guy is basically in the post. He's living in the post, essentially. And he's waiting for a wing player, hence a point guard or a shooting guard, to pass him the ball on the inside, or a small forward of that case. But back then, it was typically, traditional point guard or shooting guard. Kevin Durant, the reason why he may not get the scoring, the overall scoring leader over Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is because he may not play 20 years. I mean, just look at this year. Look at the injury that he just got. And then the last few years, he's been having some nagging injuries. I still think that he's probably going to be number 2 when it's all said and done. But I have to, put everything in its proper perspective, and I have to also have some level of caution because last time I checked, this guy has been getting injured. So barring injuries, if he doesn't, continue to sustain any more injuries, and let's say that, he plays a full season for the rest of his career, I think it's easy and safe to say that he's going to be number 2 leading scorer in NBA history. I think he's going to surpass Karl Malone. And I think that he can realistically do this by year 17 or year 18, between those two. But if he stays on the line of what he's on right now, where he's continuously getting injured, I don't know. But I still think that he's going to be top 3 because he is a lethal scorer. But these are the reasons why I feel that Kevin Durant is better than Stephen Curry, because when it's all said and done, he was the one that least sacrificed his game. Usually, the best player on a team is the one that doesn't have to sacrifice as much as others. Last year, Kevin Durant was scoring what, 28 plus points per game? Now he's only scoring 25. When you look at the likes of Stephen Curry was putting up 30 points last year. That was the year when he won his second MVP. And now he's all the way to the low 20s now. That's almost a 10-point drop off. So you got to look at it like that. You got to put it in its proper perspective. It's the same thing with LeBron James and Dwayne Wade. Dwayne Wade had the scoring title in 2010. Dwayne Wade averaged 30 points per game. Then when LeBron James showed up on the team, Dwayne Wade sacrificed way more than LeBron did. So the reason why, to me, Kevin Durant is a better player than Stephen Curry is because it's all set and it's all simple. All you got to do is look at who's the Batman and who's the Robin in that situation. Who's the one that sacrificed more? Who's the one that has to taper his game more around the other? Kevin Durant doesn't have to do that for Stephen Curry, but Stephen Curry has to do that for Kevin Durant. And because of those reasons and those reasons within itself, that shows you why Kevin Durant is the better player than Stephen Curry. This is He Knows His Sport, checking out.